Guys,
We're
we're
live?
live.
Cool. Welcome back to the Fistful of Dice podcast, everybody. We are finally back from Black Hills Con.
Black Hills Con finally took it out of everyone, but you were here. Took a lot out of you too, I heard. Needed a hiatus.
So not ready. Not the Fistful of Dice callback.
It's a classic, all right. You gotta keep it.
It's a classic.
I
I was wondering how long it would take for that callback to come in, but right out of the bat, we just ripped the Band-Aid off.
There was in fact a fistful of dice that actually happened.
Yeah, I had to make sure. I had to get the cameo in there.
Oh yeah.
All right, there we go.
Oh, there you go.
I've done this to brighten me up a little bit.
Oh, you look so good. You look so bright. Yeah, where was that sun from like less than an hour ago? You look like you were ascending to heaven.
The sun is right on my window here, so it's like.
Welcome to the podcast, Curtis. Yeah. It's good to have you.
Yep, thanks for having me, Plague and Jesty. It's always good. As my little reference there is, ain't my first time in the saddle, but it's nice to be here. I appreciate you guys having me on.
So Curtis and I used to have a podcast way back in the day, like 4 years ago.
God, has it really been that long?
I feel like it's been about that long. Well, yeah, because I've been married for about 4 years. So
yep. Well, that was the reason why it ended. Is we there was a con, Black Hills. That's why I made that joke. We went to Black Hills Con, and then I think the week after is when you got married, and we never recorded again. Woo!
Life happens. Things happen. People grow. People change. But hey, look at that! You're back on a podcast. Ooh!
It's true. In fact, you can even go watch it. All of that stuff. It's all still out there on YouTube.
It's true. I actually got to sit down and watch a couple of episodes of that, and I was like, damn, okay. This is them being professional.
It's not great.
It's not very good. The production quality is not good.
Listen, so I like, my favorite bit was, so I watched episode 1, and you guys were being so professional. It was, uber professional. You're like, hey, guys, this is, you use your real names, this is blank and blank, and we're from our local game store, name dropped immediately, and we're going to be talking about our favorite, this, that, and the other. I fast forwarded 5 episodes. You didn't even put fucking dice in the frame. All right, here, fuck you. Here's some fucking dice. Are you happy? You didn't even fucking roll them. And I was like, wow, it took 5 episodes. Here they are. These are my boys. This is it.
It was a classic.
So,
but yeah,
it's okay to die.
we were going nowhere with the podcast. We were just opening packs. That's all it ever devolved into, is ripping over magic packs. Which now, I don't know that I open a magic pack ever again.
They're up to $25 a pack, so.
Yeah, I mean, hold on. What's Final Fantasy at?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, what's the Final Fantasy?
Hold on. Collector boosters?
Yeah, what's a collector booster?
No, collector booster's like $80.
Oh.
Let's see. So a play booster box, it looks like, is going for $175, which is really funny because the gift bundle is $184. So I don't know what's up with that.
What's the gift bundle? Isn't that just the Fat Pack Plus?
Yeah, whatever.
So less boosters?
Who?
Uh-oh.
Go
content.
ahead.
The collector booster box. Do you know what it costs?
How much?
A collector booster box is $800.
Not quite. You can get one for $725.
Is that all?
Oh, what a steal!
Wow!
I'm get me 4. Can I get 4?
Yeah, I know. Look, with Games Workshop raising prices, it seems like every year. I thought they were really going to give Magic a run for their money, and the Magic's like, no.
No.
What irritates me most about Magic is they're like, guys, we don't set an MSRP.
Now, they brought that back.
Oh, good.
But we kind of set an MSRP.
I mean, they brought it back basically for it to not matter because they don't print stuff like this. They don't print enough of, and they just it doesn't matter. The market just makes its own price, and it's like 5 times higher than Not
And
5
they're
times,
so
but like it's
okay
probably
with
like
it.
double the price of what the MSRP is.
That's what they want. They
Yeah.
want the market to set the price, and then the price gets exorbitant, and then people start spending stupid amounts of money for this shit. And it's like, oh, cool. I just want to play the game. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. No, it becomes too difficult.
and then you go and talk to them, and they're like, "What? Cards are worth money? No,
No.
And then we make a one
What?
of one
What?
one ring card that sells for $2 million. Oh, what? $2 million?
I actually had hoped that
Cards
that
aren't
card
worth
was. I really hoped that card never would have gotten found.
I also hope
I
that.
I really hoped that it was in some executive's office, just like in his drawer, and he just like slides the drawer open and is like,
Yeah.
Look, it was entirely possible that that card got lost, and like I say lost, but like some person who's sitting on product to like resell it later,
Yep.
or heaven forbid, even someone who like worked there, who like it was in a box that they have that they just like keep on display or something like that. Like
Mhm.
it could have easily been in something like that, but
It could have been in a
you know,
damaged product. It could have been in one of the like
yeah, heaven forbid it was in like a damaged booster box or
Yeah.
one of the
something like
lost
that.
cargo. Like this shipment got lost in transit. Oh,
I
hold on.
remember the Lord of the Rings set was crazy. It
Dude, it
was
was
like,
crazy. It was insanity. I remember
and
talking to our local game store about how much they sold in like the opening weekend, and it was ruinous.
Jesus. I could only imagine.
It was like by far the best selling Magic set they had ever like sold product for at our local store. And I was like,
so we used to do a thing at the when the store was in a different town. We used to do this thing called Flip and Rip It a lot. We don't we we don't do it so much in the new store, and we don't really do it at all anymore. But could you imagine?
yeah, imagine if you ripped it.
The
Just
one
wham!
ring. No.
I mean, knowing how this community is, I think you'd get death threats. I think you'd get
I think you would.
I think you'd get death threats, and your life would just be awful for like probably months.
I would not
Mhm.
be surprised. I would not be surprised. There are people that take this too seriously. But that's
Mhm.
okay. You know, some people live and die by the cardboard.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the reason we don't do it anymore is because when we are at the store, we're playing Warhammer now. So
Let's go.
Yeah,
Plastic.
some flavor of war game.
yeah,
Yep.
I think it was just more of like kind of due to the nature of it growing and being, and also it being closed. There's just less. Usually, I find people are more how would you say, like purposeful when they go to the store. At least the
Yeah.
people who are going there before. They're not going to the store to just hang out and sort of
Yeah.
vibe.
Mm,
That's
mhm.
not happening as much anymore, and that's kind of how a lot of the Magic got played. Is it's like, well, I don't really want to crack out the Warhammer this early into the evening yet, or whatever, or it's not. There's not enough time to crack open another Warhammer game. It's let's play some Magic.
Yep. Because
But
really,
then
at
we're
the end
there
of the
till
day,
4 in the
you can just
morning, and we
kind of
could have played another one.
yeah. Because really, the thought process was at the end of the day, you could always just scoop up your cards and be done.
Makes sense. Easy cleanup.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But the store grew, and that's a fantastic thing. Honestly, it's
Tons of people playing
Yep.
games.
Having
I
a good
know
time.
one of the big things is obviously we've been able to fill tournaments really easy now for
Yep.
all the games that get played, and that's really awesome.
It allowed me to enter the
Curtis
community.
that's true.
Mhm.
I mean, granted, I probably would have brought you there anyways.
That's fair. You know what? That is a fair point.
But yeah, so I've known Curtis for about 10 years now.
Damn.
Yeah. That's
I
probably right. Probably close. 2016, I think, was when I started playing.
Yeah.
I met you when I started playing Warhammer, so that's
Yeah.
we're at 9 years.
Damn.
It's really ironic too, because when I first met Jesty, I was learning how to play Age of Sigmar, because that was my very first war game, and I was like, "Can you teach me and my friend who got in with me at the time?" I was like, "Can you teach us how to play? We don't know how to play this game." And Mike taught us how to play, and then immediately was like, "I'm done with Sigmar. No more Sigmar."
No Sigmar.
and
for
now
me.
we're back, baby.
Fourth
And then he
edition, best edition.
Well, he left to go play
Yeah.
40K, and then he now we've made a complete 180.
It's true. I dumped a lot of my 40k over the last year and a half. I'm down to just 2 armies, which is
Right,
my
we
Death
don't.
Watch and my Knights.
Yeah, I've got like 2 armies, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, only like 2.
I think so.
I'm not gonna
100.
let you get away with this. No, I almost guessed it on the spot. You have 26 armies between the 2 games.
I think
No,
that's right.
28 now because you got Ideneth.
That's probably right. Something like
And only
that.
2 of those armies are painted. No, 4. 4 of those armies are painted.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool. I got all these armies. I mean, like, you know.
His favorite
Um,
40k chapter is the Grey Knights because he just
Nope.
keeps copying that style for all of his armies.
Yes.
Ah.
There it is. Yep, because I don't paint, which that part is true.
That is true. That's not 100% true. You painted like half your ogres.
Yeah, and I at this point I've painted most of the corn list that I was playing in tournaments here. I think
Except for
there's
like
only like
10 guys.
the Bloodthirster.
Ah.
Didn't you have like a group paint sesh to paint like a unit of guys?
2 models got painted by other people. I had 10 Blood Warriors I had to get done. And 2 of them were painted by folks in our community.
Ah.
Gotcha.
But like 90% of the way there. I guess the Bloodthirster is like quarter of my list, but
It's a big part of the list.
it's true.
Is that what you're taking to Bug Eater this weekend? Digging corn?
No, well, Buggy. So I'm playing Tyranids this weekend.
Oh, you're playing.
Yeah, no. I look. These two are 40k naysayers, but I actually enjoy 40k a lot right now. I think it's in a pretty good spot. But we're going to the teams event here this weekend, and I'm playing Tyranids.
Listen, my man Curtis is currently on a 7-win streak. I think this man's gonna take Bug Eater all the way to the top.
Well,
all
his team has to win their games too.
My team, I could win every game, and we could still go 0-5.
You are going to win every game.
I hope so.
40k teams is a strange beast.
Yeah.
I mean, teams in general, because the AOS teams variety is very similar to the 40k teams variety. It's a cool format. There's really not a lot of support for AOS right now, which is a real shame because it's a really, really fun format where you're building teams and sort of you can build your lists around the fact that you don't necessarily always have to account for the fact that, like, say, Mega Gargants is a bad matchup. Your team can help it so that you don't get played into Mega Gargants. So, like, there's certain things that you want to.
Makes sense.
You can build your list around the fact that you might not always have to play against your worst matchups.
And that's a cool way to kind of think of it, where it's like, my weaknesses can be kind of shoved off onto my teammates. Like, they can kind of pick up the slack a little bit. That's kind of a nice way to think of it.
I've played in a single AOS teams event, which they haven't done. I actually don't know if they've done the teams event since, but Games Workshop hosted. This was in 22. Would this have been 22? It was the Kansas City Open, and at that tournament they had for Age of Sigmar. It was teams, and it was a weird teams format because it was four-person teams. Usually the teams events for, at least for the 40k side, are either 5-man or 8-man teams. So it's the first time I've ever seen a 4-man teams event. Mm-hmm.
The 5-man sounds weird to me. How does a 5-man team work?
It's 5 people with 5. So it's 5 people each with 2,000 point lists.
Oh, okay.
It's not like a doubles event.
Yeah, you play one-on-one games.
Okay, see, I'm thinking of like 2 people at the same side of the table.
Yeah, so Adepticon has 4-man teams, but that's because it's 2 doubles. It's two tables of doubles games, and every person plays 1,000 points. So no, in this team's format, which is this 4-man was very similar to the 5-man format of 40k. you all build a 2,000 point list. One of the main things is you can't duplicate codexes or battle tomes for Age of Sigmar. So like if I'm playing Khorne, nobody else on my team's allowed to play Khorne.
Okay.
So like my team for that year is I was playing Ogre Maw Tribes. We had a player playing Daughters of Cain, Caradron Overlords, and then Beasts of Chaos back when they were a real faction.
Yes.
But
Taking out behind the woodshed.
Pour one out for my homies.
Right. Rip in peace, Beasts of Chaos.
And Bone Splitters.
And Bone Splitters. Although I'm kind of surprised Bone Splitters hung on for as long as they did.
I am too.
Because they probably should have been gone like at 3rd edition, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I
even
would
earlier, because they did technically have a Battle Tome, I think, in 1st edition.
Yep.
Is it 1st edition? There was Battle Tome Bone Splitters.
They didn't have a Battle Tome after that?
They were just crammed into Orc War Clans.
Yeah, they got rolled into Orc War Clans, and they didn't even really have their own slant, I don't think. They just were part of Big Wa.
No, they had their own. They had their own space.
They did? Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, they had their own space and battle tactic or battle traits and yada yada yada.
Sure. Yep. But yeah, that was our team, and I remember. I'm trying to. It was a really well run event, actually. I think it was six games. 2 games on Friday, 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. Maybe
That's
it was 5 games. Yeah, maybe it was 5 games. I don't remember. I know it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I don't remember what the context or like the sort of permutation of that ended up being.
Yeah, that does not sound bad.
No, it was actually really nice. The rounds I think were like 3 or 3.5 hours too. So I don't remember like anybody going to time, at least on our end. I did get to play against this dude is probably the person I've encountered who plays like the most Sigmar I've ever heard. Like this guy was insanity. At that event, he was playing Slaanesh. This was when Slaanesh was good. They're not doing the greatest right now.
They're in a rough spot.
But it was his list I think was 80 Blissbarb archers, Sigvald, the Mask, and a contorted epitome. Oh, and then I think like 10 of the. I think it was 10 of the Blissbarb Seekers.
That's a list. I love it.
Maybe it was 60.
Guy wants to play Lumineth without playing Lumineth.
Well, it was good because at least at the time, like all of it could run and shoot, and it had enough shots that it would kind of just pelt a lot of. Well, because the other thing is the Blissbarb Seekers in that edition, they would shoot at something, and then that thing would get -1 to save for the rest of the phase. So you'd sit there and mark targets with the cavalry units and then just pelt them down with your hail of arrows.
Oh yeah.
It was not fun. I didn't win, like not even close. I munched Sigvald to death.
Hell yeah.
Because this is back when ogres, like at the end of every combat, you rolled a die and on a 4-up, you did D3 mortals. And that was how I killed Sigvald. I think a butcher ate Sigvald or something like that. But point of the story is actually one. I remember after that game, and so I learned after that guy's apparently a super intense Age of Sigmar player. He's like, oh, I'm a stand-in for the Worlds team here. I play.
Okay.
Yeah, I play a lot. I was like, do you even enjoy that list? He's like, no, I hate this list. This list is not fun to play. It's. I walk up and if I shoot you and kill you, right? It's like I walk up and I shoot, and if I don't kill you, I guess I lose. But most of the time, I'm probably gonna kill you. But no, he told me that he would regularly play 10 games a week of Sigmar.
Oh.
10 a week.
10 a week. That is ruinous. Absolutely ruinous. I don't understand how you would do that, dude. That's more than 1 game a day.
who's playing this fucking guy? Like,
The world's team, I guess.
I guess.
if he's a
Yeah.
substitute, yeah, he's probably practicing against like the world's team.
But he wasn't a bad dude or anything. Like I didn't enjoy playing against that list, but he wasn't a bad dude or anything. He actually was a pretty nice dude,
Hell
all things
yeah.
considered. Yeah. But no, so the teams format was really cool, but they haven't done it again to my knowledge, at least not at any of the events. Well, none of the events I think have been around here, honestly, since that one in Kansas City. But
That's a shame.
Yeah.
GW needs to do more stuff. They need to do more stuff that's like open to more ideas, like a teams tournament, more doubles tournaments, stuff that's more officially put on by them.
yeah, that was weird. Because that event it was singles 40K, and then there was double in Team Sigmar. I think it also had like a really small singles Sigmar tournament at it.
Probably.
And I think it also had a teams 40K. I think like the singles 40K was like on Friday, and then it was teams for the rest of it, or something like that. I don't remember, but I know it also had a kill team tournament and a Blood Bowl tournament, which the
All
Blood
in the
Bowl
same
tournament I
venue.
remember. Yeah, it was all in the same place.
Damn.
We had a guy in our community playing the Blood Bowl tournament. He got like a neoprene mat and shit for playing.
Hell yeah.
GW doesn't acknowledge that neoprene is a real material, except for if you go to their events.
And then they're like, guess we have so much of it.
We have it all.
But in our stores, they get this warped, janky cardboard.
Dude, I remember now. I forgot to bring this up at the Adepticon special, but I was trying to swindle one of the event organizers at Adepticon. They had these super nice 40K and Age of Sigmar like table runners.
Oh, the table dividers?
Yeah, dude, and it was like one of the sickest shit. Like I wanted one of them to be like a desk mat because it's like the perfect length for a desk mat. It was just to divide the tables between games. And it was like half of it was 40K, half of it was Sigmar, and it was sick art. And I'm like, listen, you have like 200 of these laying around. End of the event, I'll give you $20 for one. And the guy was like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think we need these after this event. Oh, but I don't know. And I'm like, whatever, dude. All right. Fine. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
I mean, that's really all. I'm going there. I actually have a double header weekends this weekend and then the following weekend. So like this weekend, I'm in Omaha at Bug Eater for 40K teams, and then the following weekend, I'm going to Henrietta, New York for ATC teams, and that is Omaha is like a 3-hour drive from us. New York, 17 and a half hours.
So
Are you driving the war wagon out there?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's gonna be a blast. I love road trips. I'm gonna have so much fun.
So, just so you all know, Curtis takes Warhammer very, very seriously. Curtis is Warhammer. He is John Warhammer himself.
He's John Warhammer.
That's probably fair. It's definitely my hobby that I have the most like time and certainly money tied up in.
That's not your fault.
Oh.
That's GW's fault.
No. Look, if the prices were less, that number goes from 26 armies to 36 armies. That's all that changes.
That's all that
Yeah.
changes. I have an army for every faction for every army. I have everything.
That's the goal.
So outside of
eventually.
Warhammer, tell us a bit about yourself, Curtis. What do you like to do outside of Warhammer? Who are you?
I'm sorry, I'm a person outside of Warhammer.
Yeah.
Sorry, that doesn't really compute to me. You know, like I don't really do it. No, I mean I'm a pretty big. I like gaming just in general. I've been a PC gamer for like my entire life. Because
What a Chad.
my parents never allowed me to have a console when I was younger, so I just always grew up having like to play stuff on the family computer. Until I got like my first job when I was in high school, and I saved up. I think at the time it was $500 to buy a computer.
Hell yeah.
Which, hey, good luck doing that nowadays.
Oh, absolutely not.
$500 for a computer? That ain't happening.
You can make it work with some used parts and some good friends.
None of my
Like
parts
I've
are
done it.
We've made it work, but
no,
we're out of spare parts.
right.
That's not true. We have a 3060.
Yep, we do have a 3060.
One. Nice.
But yeah, continue.
So I mean, obviously Warhammer is a big thing, but gaming in general, I mean, I've got a pretty big past with, honestly, my first tabletop sort of experience that I did was Magic the Gathering. I got into that when I was in middle school. Took a break for, well, the main thing was that I was a broke middle schooler, so I couldn't actually afford any cards. So anytime I'd try to go down and play at like Friday Night Magic or
Felt
whatever, I just could. I would get sloshed by, just absolutely annihilated by people who could, buy good cards and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
But I remember the events I liked playing in the most back then were the pre-release events, because you'd get to go in and it was much more level of a playing field, because I mean, you could still open a bonkers pool where someone's like, I got 3 mythics in my pool and they're all in my colors. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
But it wasn't like, all right, I show up with my deck of commons and uncommons and I'm like, ooh, I got my one rare. That's like, yeah, that's gonna get them. And they're like,
That's a good.
place it of mythics, place it
good.
of all these rares. Yeah, and tap tap, go fuck yourself, buddy. Why'd you even show up?
Why are you even here?
Yeah, why are you even here? So that was definitely my first tabletop introduction, and I've played RPGs a little bit, sort of on and off throughout my life. In high school, I remember people wanted to play D&D, but none of us had the money to sit and buy like $60 books, because
Look
even
how
back
times
then,
have changed.
yeah, right. Exactly. And they might not have even been $60, but you had to buy. I mean, even just to get started in D&D, you needed you needed your player's handbook, probably a dungeon master's guide, and a monster manual, right? I mean, I figure
Yeah.
those are
Those
probably
are
the
kind of
three.
the key three.
Really, you only need a player's handbook and a monster manual. The Dungeon Master Guide basically sums up to, it's your world, do what you want.
Yeah. Well, even just those two, that would have been what, like $80?
Yeah.
Probably at the time.
Probably.
Which for us wasn't the most. Not only was it financially hard for us to get a hold of, but it was also, none of us were really like people who went to the game stores or anything like that. Like I don't think at that point I had even really known that my local game store would have that type of stuff. So we didn't even know where to get it, even if we wanted it. So I remember I made my own system. I made like 2 different systems for running an RPG back then, and I remember my big spend that I did for that was I bought a Chessex like grid map.
Ooh.
It was a canvas grid. I still have it. I think it's sitting. It might actually be back at my parents' house, but it's somewhere. I mean, it's a nice little grid map for doing combats and whatnot. I learned that you don't use dry erase on it. That was like the first thing I ever did with it. It's canvas. Do not use dry erase on canvas. It's too coarse. It'll stain your canvas. You have to use wet erase.
Well, you learned.
Yep, I learned. But we did that, and I remember we used kind of my giant collection of Lego minifigures and different sets and whatnot to be the monsters and all the pieces we were playing with. Because that's what I had. I had a ton of Legos, because Lego, my parents' gaming was like, gamers? Like, what?
No.
Gamers?
Gross.
Right. They didn't.
Stinky.
They really, especially if it was video game stuff, they hated getting me anything for any sort of digital stuff. So, but Legos were a thing that I had a ton of, because I mean, I liked putting together Lego sets, and I'd put them up on my shelf and display them and whatnot.
Cute. Love
But
it.
so that was one of the things we multi-purposed it as, is they ended up being, monsters and character models for people in this pseudo RPG system that I made. Jesse's actually played a version of it.
True.
Back at the old store, I ran a short, like, we probably had like 5 sessions or less of that campaign. But it went all right.
What did you
did
do
some
with
stuff.
that,
I
Jesse?
played like a depressed medical bot, so it was like post World War III basically. The bombs dropped, a bunch of people died, a bunch of people didn't die. But I played this medical robot whose whole platoon was wiped right at the end of the war.
Damn.
And then I got found, brought back, and I was just exploring with these people. And his name was M. It was like M.2497, but they just called it M. Dot for short.
Cute.
Yep.
I actually came across his character sheet the other day, and I don't know what I did with it.
Really? You came across that character sheet? Did we even have a
We had
proper one?
it was like a piece of paper that just had his stuff on it.
Yeah. That sounds right, because that's what I did. I remember I didn't even have the wherewithal to like make it in like Word or in Google Docs. So I remember I made character sheets. I physically like drew them, and with a ruler I would make straight lines to separate out the boxes, and then I would use my printer to scan it and make copies of it.
Hey, you do what you do. You do what you can with what you got, you know?
It's true. It's true. You make the most of what you had. So.
But you made an RPG system, and it sounded like you were able to do 5 sessions with it.
It's true. In fact, all those rules are sitting in my Google Drive.
Hell
dormant.
Yeah, man. Sick.
Sleeping.
Yep.
Waiting.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll crack them back out and use them for something, but as of right now, no.
Hard no.
No.
It's not that great of a system. I mean, it's
it's
very
fine.
similar to like a D&D-esque thing. It's heavily inspired by Fallout, because I'm a huge Fallout fan. I love Fallout.
Sick.
Well, I suppose, yeah, that probably mostly covers my background, I suppose. Is there anything I didn't cover that?
I was hoping to get some shoe size. I was hoping to get your social security number and the 3 funky card numbers on the back of your credit card, but we can save that for another time. Oh, shit. Guys, write that down. Write that down. We need that.
Unbelievable. We finally played D&D again.
Yep.
We did.
I was there. Curtis played this time.
You were there. You were there. So also, it's crazy that we played D&D, because there's also some crazy big D&D news. Did either of you two hear this?
No, you're telling me for the first time.
Yep, for the first time since 2019, there is a new class. The Scion has been added as a class, an official class. I thought that Jesse here would have been all about it and known everything, so I didn't do too much research. But yeah, so the Scion is going to be a new class. It's going to be a wisdom-based class. Basically, it's going to be like a metamorphosis-based class. It's going to have a couple of subclasses that base around changing your body into its weaponry. Changing into any sort of element that it needs, and it seems very, very cool from what they've shown so far. It got dropped yesterday.
Sure.
Seems cool. More options are great.
For sure. I don't keep up the most with like D&D news, because I'm not super tuned into RPGs. As much as I would like to be, but that's kind of cool. Yeah. New classes, more options. That stuff's always neat, especially when you make it official, because some people are, purists about not wanting to use third-party supplements for with their rules or anything like that. So
Not
hey,
us though.
Not us. We love third party
nope.
rules, but there are a lot of people out there that are like, no homebrew, no third party. And so, again, with how big D&D has gotten over the last couple of years, give the people some more options. And this is good. This is really cool from what it looks like. Could be
Yeah.
ass in game. Could be absolutely fucking dog water. But we'll see. But yeah,
Not
anyways.
ass in game. It is my character in this campaign.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Hit us with it.
So I'm playing a Weir. He is an ASMR Paragon, which is from the this company puts out a book called the Codex of Good, and they put out like the Codex of Evil. This is like the good class they introduced. I'm basically like the avatar of a god. And I level up and I get certain abilities, yada yada yada. Well, when I go into my Paragon form, I can auto pass a skill check. And Plague had this moment where like he forced everyone to the ground with like gravity. My character just went, nah. And it really forced Plague to go, ooh.
I literally had a moment where I was sitting there behind the DM screen and I was like, okay, because this is like a story beat moment where it's like, this is big bad evil guy and number one henchman. So we need to get them to their respective spot in the story. So henchman's going to drop them to the ground with gravity magic so he can teleport them away to their respective location. And I got hit with a nuh-uh, and I'm sitting there like, oh, okay, let's play this out. Let's play this out. I'm so down for this.
So a Weir's character is like, he is like, it's also has a custom background, which is the Blessed One. So ever since he was like a baby, he's been like worshipped by this church. So he thinks he is like the gift to mankind. Like
He's hot shit.
all of his like magic stuff is like gold based. He makes it rain molten gold, which is a really cool ability.
Oh my god, it is sick.
He's like I said, he's just arrogant. So when I talked about Torvalar was confident. But Awir is arrogant, which is a completely different side of the spectrum.
Yes. This guy is an asshole about it.
Yeah.
And it's a very fun character to see played.
Mm-hmm. And the only character that listens to him is funny. It's like the quiet changeling bard.
So, shock to no one, my wife is playing a bard. Surprise to no one that knows her. Curtis is angry. Curtis is cratering his desk right now. Curtis, if bards have no haters, Curtis is dead.
Bards are stupid.
And that probably doesn't surprise anyone. Like Plague and I's wife, we role play our characters really well together.
Oh, I was like Plague and I's wife. I'm like, what's happened here? Go on.
Plague's wife and I. That's the better way to word that.
You're good. Like, hey.
We bounce off each other really well when we're role playing characters.
Very well.
Plague's last campaign, we had two characters that hated each other. That she was the DM for the other campaign, but so our characters, her character's like very quiet, very reserved. And my character's just complaining about the other three characters, and she's the one that's unfortunately there to has to listen to it.
She's just sitting there like, I don't know what they're doing.
Nice.
That's, yeah.
They're a real joy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't listen to his character.
Nope.
My character doesn't listen to him.
Nope. You're busy. You're busy in your own little story. Curtis, tell us about your character.
So
I would like to know more as the GM. I'm hoping you give me something here.
My character is Silent. He's an elf fighter.
A wicked fighter, dude.
He's a wicked fighter, which is I cheated. First off, I cheated. I totally brain lapsed that a wicked fighter is a subclass. So for that session and that session only, I was both a battle master and a wicked fighter.
Oh,
So I have
sick.
to, I cheated.
He admits
But
it. What a good player. What a great player. Love to have
yeah,
you.
so I'll have to erase the Battle Master stuff from my sheet next time we play. But he's a elf wicked fighter, which is one of the subclasses from the evil, the Corpus Malicious, I believe is what that
Yep.
book is called.
Yep.
Yep.
It's one of the fighter subclasses you can be, and it's sort of a duelist 1v1 type class, sort of about dirty tricks, and you know, you fight. You're not necessarily fighting with honor and respect. Win by any means necessary. Throw dirt in their eyes, type
Yep.
thing.
Spit on them. Do what you can to get by.
Right. And my character is a descendant of a noble family, but he really is. He's an outcast and sort of a wild child that he enjoys running around, gallivanting around the countryside, partying it up, and sort of ignoring his maybe familial duties or expectations that his parents and other family have for him. As you know, so as he's the eldest son, so he's a lot is expected of him from his family, but he's just completely ignoring them to sort of pursue his own decadence and pleasures.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's got
so
like a
hopefully you go.
he's got like a chip on his shoulder because he has all this expectation, but he's like, I don't really want that. So it comes out it's like a bad attitude.
Right. And it's important to know, like, he's kind of a nepo baby.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
He's very he's very like Jamie Lannister coded.
Okay.
Where he's this dude who is from a rich family, so he's never really had to struggle a whole lot. But he doesn't really care that much about the screw you, dad. I'm gonna go do my own thing. You don't know anything. It's not a phase. But he doesn't. But he's not like he has money, and his parents haven't disowned him. They just are disappointed in the path that he's decided to take. So
they're like, you can do your own thing. It's fine. Go do that adventuring thing that you want to do. And when you're done, you have responsibilities that you need to take care of back at home.
Right.
Got it.
And so hopefully throughout the campaign, we'll be exploring some of the ramifications of what it means to sort of be out on your own, and sort of a like fish out of water type experience, where it's shit, I can't just rely that my family are gonna fix any issue that I cause or thing that's gonna happen to me. Like it's on me now, and I kind of have to make a person of myself out of this experience. But I have a friend who is following me.
This motherfucker, dude.
He hasn't actually made an appearance yet, but my character's parents sent along a guardian of sorts, someone to make sure that I don't get myself killed out here. and his name's Josiah. Josiah is this badass warrior dude who is, probably way more powerful than myself that I'll probably ever be. But I'm just annoyed that he's there because he's not strong arming me into coming home. He's basically just there to make sure I don't get myself killed. But that means sometimes he's always up in my grill, kind of, cramping my style. And I'm like, come on, Josiah. Like, leave me alone, all right? Go back and see mom and dad. I don't even want you here.
I don't even need you right now, dude.
It's also the name of a restaurant that Curtis ate at earlier that day.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
I didn't eat it there that day, but yes, that is the name of a restaurant. Restaurant here, but yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's not why he's named that.
This motherfucker did not tell me anything about this character. Just all of a sudden started, oh, Josiah, I need you to stop this shit. Was this you? Like I would bring up a puzzle or something, or like something would happen, and Silent would be like, Josiah, was this you? Are you in disguise right now, Josiah? Are you fucking with me? You need to stop this shit. I'm
This
like,
character doesn't. This character is just has nothing to do. Josiah might be actually dead. Like,
yeah, like I have no clue what's going on, and this has become a bit. Like we're like 3 hours into this session, and I still have no fucking clue what the hell is going on. These guys are locked in a cell. Like the cell has no door. The only they were able to figure out that the wall is sealed with magic. It is a cinder block wall sealed with magic, and Silent's like, Josiah, can you at least finally do something? I'm like, fucking fine, Josiah, you touch it, your finger like sizzles, and Josiah opens the fucking door, and you're like, Josiah, was that so hard? And I'm like, is he a fucking, are you a warlock? Is he your patron? What is happening? Tell me something. Tell me about this character. I don't know who he is.
we
That's kind of neat.
our party also includes a human druid.
Yep.
Who's like bird-esque.
Yes.
He was raised by birds.
A kakapo.
Cockpows.
A kakapo.
They're a ground nesting parrot.
Yep. Cannot fly. They wanted to be a flightless bird.
And then a Dampier sorcerer.
Oh no!
I'm pretty sure he's a Dampier sorcerer.
I think it's a wizard.
Oh, is he a wizard?
Yeah, I think it's a Dampier wizard.
Man.
Magic man.
It's really funny. There was a moment between the changeling and the vampire where they like were separated, and they had this moment of like, oh, you're that and you're that. We're not gonna tell anybody.
Yep. Oh. Okay. Secrets are coming out. Hey, this is me. Hey, you're you. Okay, we won't tell nobody. Loved it.
But yeah, so basically to get around my character just being like in this henchman's face, Plague ended up like Thanos snapping my character away, which is an option. Just removed my character from the fight.
There was the initial option. It was what was going to happen regardless.
Yeah. So then we all got Thanos snapped one by one. So
you guys did like 50 damage to him.
But the Dampier took a bite of this guy.
I can't fucking believe
it. And then like Muscle Man spasmed on the ground like
the number one henchman of the big bad evil guy is basically like a necrotic amalgamation of different decaying organs and body masses. Like this dude is kept alive by chemicals and nothing more, basically, and magic. There's no like real blood in him.
Bite out of him,
and he's like, I'm a vampire. I want to suck your blood. I want to suck your blood. And I'm like, okay, you suck his blood and you're fucking paralyzed. You have so many chemicals swirling around you that you are paralyzed. You're on the floor.
He's like, hospital.
Hospital.
Spicy.
Spicy. Why is it spicy? He was like, to be fair, I'm hungry and you're the first mortal that I've seen. I needed to drink. I was like, yeah, I guess, but maybe not the amalgamation.
Like,
Oh, it was such a funny moment. Oh my god, and the role play between your guys' characters, like all the characters at the table was top notch, man.
It's very good. It's nice having a table the table was chaotic, but it was chaotic in a way that the characters themselves found themselves in a chaotic situation, so that's why it was chaotic.
Yeah. We weren't getting pulled away by like four different conversations that didn't relate to D&D. It was the characters were being chaotic. Everyone was in character talking to each other, and they were having 3 conversations. And I'm sitting behind my screen, and I'm like, there was a moment. So, and this was session 0, It was going to be like 0.5. I was going to basically set up the world, set up the big bad evil guy, get them to the spot they needed to be, and be like, all right, guys, thanks for coming over. Hope you guys enjoyed dinner because my wife cooked for everyone. And I was going to like,
Excellent food.
yep, exactly. And it was like, all right, thanks for coming over. If you guys want to chill and hang out for a bit, we can. But like, that's kind of it. And there was a moment where like I was watching all this happen and I was sitting behind the DM screen. I'm like, I felt it well up in me and I'm like, I want to keep going. I'm loving this. I want to keep going. And we kept going for like another 2.5 hours.
So Plague introduced this party to his favorite add-in to
My little
campaign.
NPC, yeah.
And we almost killed him immediately.
I was gonna kill him.
So it's
I almost threw him out the window.
It's so funny because it's almost everyone in the party is the same, like same players from the last party. Everyone loved him last campaign. This time, oh, he's gonna die. We're gonna kill this guy. We don't trust him. Okay.
It's time that we didn't trust him. We're just like, If I throw you out that window.
All shaped.
My little NPC is a little rock golem. He's a magical rock golem that's about like 2 feet tall, maybe like 1.5 feet tall. He's a little heroic adventurer. He's small. He's young. He's dumb. He's an idiot. He's got a stick and a backpack. That's it. His name is Boomba. He's a magical creature that will show up from time to time. Can grant something if people listen, nothing if people don't. Like
he's never granted anything. Nothing ever.
Well, not like a wish or anything like that, but like he can lead you to something
here's
cool.
Here's a stick of your own.
Here's a stick of your own. But like he is there for like if you put up with Boomba long enough, there's a reward. If you don't put up with Boomba, then I mean it was a fun little thing for a little bit. I got to play as Boomba. And Boomba joins the party. He does one damage.
He is currently in the party.
Yeah.
I think we have one character that's going to join us though next time that wasn't there this time.
Yes. There's still one more character. They were not able to make it to the session, but they were like, "Hey, do session 0. I'll do my roles and everything and show you, and we'll just add me in session 1." And I was like, "Cool." So that the full party is almost ready.
I have a 6 in wisdom.
Yeah, that is something that happened.
Everything else is great. Yeah. I think you have I think you have like an 18 in dexterity though.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so like it kind of balances out.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's pretty good. The table is very fun. This is so far it's turning out to be a very fun session. And for those that don't know, it's my go-to for like, hey, this is going to be a fun, nonchalant, casual D&D campaign. Monster of the month. Go in. Here's a challenge. A bit of backstory for the challenge. Can you do it? Cool. And then go back to the big bad evil guy with his reward.
Yeah, we're working for the big bad evil guy.
Wheezes the henchman.
Wheezes the henchman's boss. But yeah, it was just a blast. And like I said, it's so fun being able to like just feel that reinvigoration where like I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, this is what I have planned. Oh, I can keep going. But yeah, no, it was a great time.
Yeah, I had a really good time. I'm excited for the next session.
Good.
Should be a blast.
Good. Oh, you said something about what was it? Dirty tricks? I also had to deal with some dirty tricks since the last podcast.
I cheated in a game against Plague and I admitted to it and he's being a shitter about it. I played Cruel Boys for the first time in like 6 years.
This is the only time I brought it up. Every time you've texted me, hey, I cheated, I was like, hey man, you're all good. This happens. It's all good. Like that's just nice we can play another game.
So Crew Boys have rules called dirty tricks, and they can fuck around with the game basically. I misremembered how a rule worked, and I played it wrong the entire game.
What did you misremember about the tricks?
Sneaky sneaking. I misremembered it as an additional move.
No, it's a teleport, ain't it?
It's a teleport
Mm,
for a unit that's only 10 models
Or
which,
less.
yeah.
or less.
Which, to be fair, we were playing hell.
The worst mission.
The
worst
fucking
mission I've
hell.
played. forgotten.
Yeah!
Star Strike,
Star
baby.
Strike, baby.
Star Strike. Woo! I fucking love
It's
Star
back
Strike.
in the Scourge of Gyran book.
Oh yeah!
It's not. It's not back.
It's not. It's not. The full book got leaked. It's not in there.
Oh wait, the full 2025 handbook got leaked.
Oh, the
I'm
missions
excited.
did, anyways.
Oh, thank
There's
God.
some crazy ones out there.
Yeah, there is.
There's one where it's like half the you guys. It's like Dawn of War style deployment, but it's only half the board.
Yep.
Oh, what?
Yeah. It's
Okay, we'll talk
wild.
about that after this. Holy shit! I did not know this. Okay,
No,
Yeah.
Scourge of Gyran is cool.
let's go.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Let's go.
Be fun.
But yeah, so we played a Star Strike Cruel Boys versus Toolis Taylor other Stormcast. Not Dragon.
Yeah, so even though I cheated, I don't know that it changes like the outcome of our game.
No, it doesn't.
Um
It was a wash. You got the
squared
perfect
Bilbo.
Star Strike
yep.
placements.
Ah.
You took Caesar Center turn 1, which got your guys in the center. And then the objective spawned in the center towards you, like leaning towards you. I was like,
And I
oh,
just, like,
cool.
Shimmy shuffled over.
Yep. And then the other one was directly on top of your two heroes, like your troll. I don't know the names.
Oh, my Maya Brute Trogoth and the Sludge Raker Beast.
Yep. And I'm like,
Great
Yeah.
models.
okay, let's see what I can do here. Turns out not a lot.
And it turns out a wall of 20 Gut Rippas just doesn't move.
Nope.
No, it does not. Give me 1 second here. Perfect. Get purged, idiot. Loser. Fucking feel the wrath.
What else has been going on?
Scourge of Gyran.
Scourge of
Scourge of
Gyran.
Gyran.
Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm so excited. I want the new handbook now.
So it goes on pre-order this weekend, which for those watching in the future is the 31st of May.
I'm going to be 31 on Monday.
And the objective
Happy
markers
birthday,
that
Plague.
Thank you.
the objective markers we all bought at Adepticon are now null and void because the objective
No, I
markers
don't
have
think
specific
so.
markers.
They do, but there's actually not that many scenarios that care about them.
That's true.
I think I counted like 2 or 3 scenarios out of the 12 that are in there that actually care about the type of marker that you're on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
So it's
Here,
like
I'll post one in here.
completely different game.
Oh, you can't look at this.
So yes, the scenarios changed up quite a bit compared to the General's Handbook that released with the first with the launch box for Age of Sigmar.
Okay.
But honestly, the missions were going to be whatever. Probably the more important thing to talk about is the battle tactics change that they're doing this.
Yes.
Okay.
Doing this season.
Tell me all
I'm
about
excited.
it. Tell me all about it.
So essentially, you have these, instead of picking a battle tactic every turn, when you build your list, you pick, is it 2? I think you pick 2 of these tracks.
Yeah, it's 2.
Yeah, you pick 2 tracks to be your army's objectives. Kind of almost a la Grand Strategies from 3rd
Days
edition.
Gone.
But Not quite.
Okay.
And it's not quite the same because it's their objectives. They all have 3 stages, and over the course of the game, you are building. You get 5 points for every stage that you complete. So I think that's for a total of 30 points at the end.
If you get both of them done, yeah.
If you got maxed out both of them.
So like this one is called Wrathful Cycles. So the first one is you complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if you control more objectives than your opponent. Five victory points.
Sure, easy.
Oh.
Then it goes down to the next, and then it's done. You can't get it again.
So you don't have to like pick and choose. It's
Nope,
like an
you don't
objective
pick
that
every round.
that you mark off. Like, did I complete
Yep.
this round?
Yep. And then it goes,
Oh.
and then it becomes Daring Resurgence. You complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn. If you are the underdog this battle round, and
I'm gonna come.
if you are the underdog this battle round, there is at least one friendly unit on the battlefield, and at least half of the friendly units on the battlefield use a fight ability this turn. That seems, That seems like wanting you to lose.
So I think the main thing to point out with a lot of these is the first step on a lot of them is fairly
Very
easy.
easy.
Yeah, most of the time you could probably even get it done on the first turn of the
Okay.
game.
Mhm.
But the other 2 objectives for it, and that's why there's only 3 and not 5 steps on each of these, is it's not really meant to be a thing. I don't think it's really meant to be an objective that you're
Complete
doing
every
one
turn.
step of it every turn. It's you've got 4 turns more likely to do the last 2 steps as opposed to the current way, which is trying to figure out battle tactics and what you can or can't do. So
and
that'll
then-
be interesting.
Yeah. So then the last one for this, for completion's sake, is you complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if there is a different friendly unit wholly within each large quarter of the battlefield. You control more objectives than your opponent, and there are no enemy units contesting any objectives that you control.
Right. And that's really hard to do, especially by the end of the game. You might not even have 4 units to be able to be in all the quarters. Like,
is that has to be end of the game?
No, it
No?
could be as early as turn 3 in theory, but
You just have to complete the other 2 before you unlock that one.
Damn! I was gonna say instant translocate, reclaim the realms, baby. Let's go.
they're interesting. I actually don't know if I really like battle tactics. I think battle tactics are fun, and they're a thing that I enjoy.
Mhm.
The thing that I'm seeing with a lot of these is these strike me as you're going to end up with a lot of lopsided games where somebody who gets double turned and tabled gets like no points off their secondary and the other person maxes it, and you're going to have these crazy games where the other person scored 20 points and they scored 75 or something crazy like that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, like, if the double turns, like, you can't advance a battle tactic, or if they're just doing away with that.
Oh, so we don't know that yet.
No, because it was just a leak. Technically, the submissions and the battle tactics haven't been fully revealed yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So someone in our local game store Discord posted, someone got the cards early. Someone posted all the cards, but we don't know, like,
the actual
rules for stuff.
Okay. Okay.
In theory, it sounds cool. And I'm gonna give it a shot. Obviously, I'll be playing Sigmar. But I think what it's really gonna come down to is some of those ones seem really hard, almost like hard enough to the point where even if you did get like a double turn, like I said, having 4 units even on the board by turn 3 or by the end of the game, that might not even be a thing you're able to accomplish by the time everything's said and done.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, getting a max score game is going to be really difficult, even if you are tabling your opponent, honestly.
Yeah.
Right. I see it. I see what you're saying.
But the most exciting part, for me at least, has been the faction rules updates that every faction has been getting.
Yep, I agree.
Leading up to the release of the General's Handbook.
Teleporting Kraken Eater.
I don't like how they're executing it.
Where it's 1 a day?
No.
No.
Where you get to pick between this battle profile or this one? It should just be
because
this
the
is
War
what it is
Scrolls,
now.
all of these rules, by the way, are only legal for a year. Even the stuff that's not the sheets, they're only legal for the year that the Scourge of Gyran book is out and legal.
So if you like them,
So
better play them.
So you're going to end up in this spot where there are definitely some War Scrolls and some units that are going to get bought and taken because they're worth taking now.
Mm-hmm.
Some things that come to mind is potentially like Iron Blasters. I think might see some play in Ogre tribes.
New Iridan.
Yeah, New Iridan the Witness.
Kraken Eater.
Kraken Eater. Trying to think what else was.
Gorgruntas.
Gorgruntas, yeah. I mean, it sounds like Gorgruntas were actually on the rise.
They were, yeah.
But
because a lot of people playing cavalry. But there's a rumored change in here where you're not able to reinforce cavalry over 5 wounds.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry, moving my camera a bit. Hold up.
Okay, but
yes, 4 wounds on the Morbags. Let's go, baby.
We'll have to see. Personally, I wish these would have just been addendums to the indexes that potentially went away or got added to the battle tome as a battle tome got released. And I also don't like that you can pick one of the War Scrolls that you are either choosing the Gyran Gorgruntas or just the normal ones, because I'm gonna be real. There's almost zero. It's also weird because there's points differences. Not all of them cost the same amount of points as the original scroll either.
Right.
So now you're dealing. You can't have 2 of the. I can't bring Gyran Gorgruntas and normal Gorgruntas in a list. I believe I have to pick one of the scrolls, and that's what I get to use for my list.
That is how it works. How does this work with regiments or armies of renown, like the Grunta Stampede? Can I bring Gyrian Gruntas?
I would assume so, because they still have the same name. They aren't called Scourge of Gyran Gorgruntas, I don't think. I think they're still just called Gorgruntas, aren't they?
No, they're Scourge of Gyran Gorgruntas.
Oh, is that what it says on the scroll? Okay, well, then rules as written, you probably wouldn't be able to bring them in.
I won't be able to. So that'll be an FAQ, I'm sure.
Right. I personally think these should have just been. This just changed the War Scroll.
This is what a Gorgrunta is now.
Yeah. Especially because a lot of them were getting put on units that weren't seeing a bunch of play, and they are trying to. They're trying to buff them to make them be playable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would have been nice too, because it means like I know that this is going to be able to always stay like this. Because that's also the other thing is I don't usually subscribe to the rules writers are in bed with the business people, and they make the rules to optimally sell more models. I'm sure to an extent some of that stuff happens, but also as a game designer, I know that generally when things aren't doing well, one of the best things to do is buff them and make them better.
Yeah,
that's not that can be a decision that's made completely divorced from your business aspect of whatever. But honestly, that's neither here nor there. But hey, well, I'm gonna buy a Pontifex Dinestra is the one that comes to mind for me for Cities of Sigmar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, she seems like maybe I can run her now, and she seems pretty good, and maybe let's give her a shot. But then after this year, well, she's gonna go back to her old scroll, or potentially she might get a new scroll if they have a battle tome by then. But who knows?
That's really weird that this is only going to stick until the next General's Handbook.
It's really odd because they didn't do it like this for 40k. Because, like, let's be real, a lot of this, the way they did this, is mirroring the Grotmas stuff that they did for 40k over like the Christmas season. But those detachments that they released during that month are legal for the rest of the edition. They aren't going away in a year or next Christmas or whatnot. They are legal, at least as far as I'm aware. They're legal forever. So. And I thought that they absolutely could have done the same thing with these. And maybe they will. It's a possibility that in a year's time, they be like, we see that you guys have really liked these, and, the new Schmungus Bungus General's Handbook will also include these Scourge of Gyran War Scrolls.
I hope so.
Because I thought it was a good change. I thought
So I think with me, I'm lucky enough. I think that probably is the Kraken Eater's war scroll that's going in the book. Because right now he doesn't do anything, and with the larger objective markers, I think they're going to go away from him being able to move objectives.
Are they bigger?
Well, the actual objective markers they supply now are the big ones. They're not just 40 millimeter discs.
No, I know, but are they the same size as the?
Yeah, but in the old current rules, an objective is a 40 millimeter circle.
Right. Yeah.
And you have to be within 3 inches of it, whatever, 6 inches of it. But in this, it's just this diameter of this objective. It's not the 40 millimeter.
I see what you're
saying. It
anymore.
changes it to be less specific.
So the game gets real cumbersome and frankly annoying if you have to move this fat fucking mat, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the downsides because I actually think the idea of moving objectives and having that be a part of the game can be cool. I know another game that I've played that does something like that is Malifaux. Malifaux has some scenarios where you move the objectives around, but that's also a game that you don't play with the giant neoprene. I think the real thing is we've normalized playing with the big 6-inch neoprene markers, which make them really hard for you to move because usually people's models are on top of them, and you don't want to move models if the if the game is still going on.
It's a lot easier to move like this than this.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. 100%.
But yeah, you can see on like these, this is a 40 millimeter circle here.
Right. Yep. I'm aware.
And
whereas the objective now is that whole thing.
When we first started playing Jesty, at the beginning of the edition, when you were getting me Skaven and we played a game of Spearhead, didn't you use 40 millimeter like gold tokens?
Yes.
Is that what it used to be?
That's what it currently is.
Technically, that's what it currently is.
Oh.
But this takes measurement out of who's on the objective.
Oh.
There's no arguments about am I in 3 inches? Am I barely like?
Oh,
you just know if you're either on it or
I
not.
mean, honestly, if you're playing against someone, you're like, hey, I want to play with my big objectives here that have, take the guesswork out of it, and they go, no, I want to play with the 40 millimeter bases. And you go, you're probably a shitty player.
Gotcha. Okay, so I have been so consistently playing with the neoprene discs that I thought the objectives were just 6 inches this whole time.
Nope, they are. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, bring back old Sigmar objectives.
Oh,
bring back. Here, I think give me a sec. I will grab one.
Oh,
yeah,
he looks so comfy. Look at how comfy he looks.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, Curtis has also become like a keeper, like a crypt keeper.
Yeah. Again, 28 armies.
I love that he's wrapped up in a tortilla.
He's our little shawarma. I love him.
Oh, does he have them?
Oh, fuck!
Yeah, yeah.
That shit's huge.
So this is what an objective in first through third edition of Age of Sigmar looked like.
Why is that so big?
Because it was 6 inches. It was the measurement for how close you had to be.
Yep.
Now, as much as ridiculous as this thing looks, I think this was much better for the game, actually, compared to them switching to the 40k sized objectives.
Okay.
Which is what we're currently at.
So, because you could contest objectives without having to fight on objectives.
Oh, got it.
Right.
Now objectives are so small that
you have to fight on an objective.
Well, think about it like this, that, 3-inch combat range in Age of Sigmar, it's a 6-inch diameter thing. So if you're basically on halfway of it, they can't actually even walk onto the objective without fighting. They have to charge.
Yep.
At least in 40k, it sort of gets around it by the fact of engagement range is only an inch in that game, so you can still sort of have things contesting objectives.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I like that
sense.
more because it made it also so that the control score, which they added control score in this edition only for it to, I feel like it just doesn't matter, like, ever.
It mattered one time in one game, and it was that game that I played against Cruel Boys, where I was like, Androsta has how much control score? How many gut rippers do you have there? Okay, I'm not gonna do it. That's there it is. There's
So
control score.
as a Mega Gargant player, control score matters a lot.
Because they have a 5, right? Each?
No, they're 20.
They're 20.
Oh, I thought monsters all had 5.
Nah, it sounds
Most of
Behemoth.
them do. Sons of Behemoth, though, that was like one of the rules in 3rd edition when they came out.
20
Was
models on
they
an
count as
objective.
20. They're 35 wounds and they count as 20. Which also meant something because now a Gargant can, I'm pretty sure with its base, can encompass almost the entire objective.
Pretty much.
What does Archaon have?
Probably like
Same size.
5 or 10 or something like that.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
objective score?
Yeah, objective
That I don't
score.
know.
I can find out.
Let me get up. Hang on. No, I'll stand up. Now you can see me in my shorts.
I can't stand up. I'm still in thong mode.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I see.
He's 10. Archaon is 10.
Got it.
But
you want to come on this objective? You gotta fight me for it.
Yep.
I mean, Sigmar, I think, is going through
An awkward teen phase.
Yeah, it's going through an awkward teen phase. So we're gonna have this conversation right now because I and I think most of the people in our community here who played, I think the end of 3rd was by far the best Sigmar has ever been. Like, bar none, not even close. The end of 3rd was truly excellent. It was quite good.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that from multiple people.
And we made a bunch of changes coming into 4th that I believe were good changes from a high level, but in execution are kind of done poorly.
Yep.
One of my big gripes is the regiment system.
Really?
So from a high level, yes. So from a high level, it sounds like a really cool system. Oh, you really got to prioritize which heroes you're going to use to lead your regiments, and you still have to sort of you don't want, you're giving up drops to get more heroes. But the issue I've found is that ends up really quickly just turning into all the good lists for an army look the same because I can't afford to take a bad hero. Cool, I go and look, and especially the types of heroes that suffer the most from this are little like foot utility heroes.
Yeah.
War chanters.
Blood pelt hunters.
No.
Yep.
So
my favorite model in the game, frankly, is probably just not good enough to take.
Yeah, because it's not like 3rd edition where it was like, yeah, just bring what you want.
Well, you could have any two. It was up to 3 because you could have your general and then 2 other heroes plus
2 shitters and then
it had to be like a non-monster. So if you brought 2 centerpieces, you were going to be up on drops. But also, I feel like the game really changed with the underdog mechanic. It also really put the slant on you wanting to go second, and being able to control the underdog. And I think also despite the fact that I feel like the game tried to be less killy, I feel like the stuff got a little bit worse in terms of its offensive profiles. But then at the same time, I feel like saves just across the board got worse as well. So you end up with a lot of these just bulldozer matches where it's, oh, I got double turned on turn 2 and I got tabled.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Because also there's not really Sigmar's also a game that's kind of suffering from, there's not a lot of true anvils in the game anymore.
No.
Because everything does crit mortals.
Well, there's the stuff that has crit mortals, and usually, so like a good example of a unit that I think still does okay as an anvil is Mighty Skull Crushers in Khorne.
Yeah.
They're 5 wounds. Well, although I guess now I can't reinforce them if what you're saying is true.
Mm-hmm.
But in a 6-man unit, which is what I was running, I would run a single 6-man unit of them. They are a 2-up base save. They don't have a ward, but a 2-up base save and 5 wounds. They were chunky enough, and that 2-up save got them far enough, especially since things kind of top out at -2 rend. Very rarely you'll see something with -3 rend, and usually it only gets that against a certain type of unit, as opposed to actually just being base -3.
Yep.
But that was a unit that, especially like with all-out defense, -2 rend was putting you on 3s. And so you could really tank up a lot of damage, but all it took was, Chosen or some Varangard crit mortaling, and then I just lose all my cows because they don't have a ward.
Yep.
So we're kind of in a weird spot that crit mortals, I think, probably needs to be I think they put it on. There was very few units that had a crit mortals type effect in 3rd edition.
Yep.
Now my Liberators have
Bloodletters.
And it was like Skull Takers had it against characters.
Yeah, Bloodletters.
Like,
I think Bloodletters had it.
Yeah, Bloodletters had it. That was like their shtick.
Or Cruel Boys. Cruel Boys, that was their shtick. They were like one of the few ones that got to be able to do this sort of crit mortal effect.
Yep.
And now it's kind of just on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
They actually took it away from Cruel Boy. Well, in shooting at least.
The Ard Boys or the actual Cruel Boys have it, but the bows don't have it anymore. You can give it to them with a spell or with a dirty trick, but that's still a 6-up, not a 5-up like it was.
Damn.
Which is probably good.
That's fair.
But
listen,
so
I got hit with the fucking fucko bow, the fucking Beast Killer what is it? Beast Killer Skewer bow?
Beast Skewer Kill Bow.
I almost had it. I got hit with that thing. Yeah, crit mortals on that. I'm okay. I'm good.
Come on.
No, I'm okay.
Overall, I think what we're really seeing though is the regiment system needs to be fixed or potentially just go away in general, because I think a lot of it's not punishing what I think it was trying to punish. I think it was trying to get rid of, you just bring like all the big centerpieces or whatnot, but now it's you just only bring them because it's not a consideration, because also, like, it's the game. Nobody wants to really go more than 2 drops with their list. They want to stay at 2 drops or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In fact, it's like the vast majority is 2 drops. I don't see very many 1 drops, and I usually don't see anybody over 2 either. I will go over 2, but I've found that I'm in the minority on that front.
I believe my Flesh Eater's drop is 3.
So we just are in a weird spot where I think a lot of lists, at least in terms of playing competitively, and maybe say what you will, but I primarily play a fairly competitive version of Age of Sigmar.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's especially because they really are choking you on trying to get wizards. Wizards are never bonus heroes. Because there are a few heroes that can be taken in regiments as like a secondary hero that's in there that takes up a slot.
Yep.
I think there's only one faction I can think of where a wizard is one of those things, and it's Tzeentch. It wouldn't surprise me if Lumineth. Yeah, maybe Lumineth has.
Lumineth can.
Yeah, like Tzeentch I think can take a Curseling. I think they can take a Curseling as one of the secondary heroes, or an Ogroid Thaumaturge.
Okay.
But also and the wizards are so much more important now because we increased the prevalence of endless spells.
Mm-hmm.
And so we we ended up, I think, trying to make a. It feels like we made a bunch of changes and we kind of lost the plot on where some of it was going and what it was trying to do. I don't think the ramifications of all the choices that were made were fully understood. And
I
so
agree with that.
Too many changes all at once, and none of it really fixed any of the issues that they were trying to change.
It was one of those things when we
well,
when we
it
were at
fixed some of them, but
Adepticon,
made different issues. But yeah,
when we were at Adepticon, and they were like, "Age of Sigmar 4th Edition," a lot of the crowd went, "You're gonna ruin it, aren't you?"
yeah, when it got released.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, the end, like that Adepticon was one of the most fun, and that's the
Yeah.
worst I've ever performed at Adepticon. Before this year, where I went 1-4. That was the most fun I've ever had playing at Adepticon.
Just because the game was that fun.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's also, I should point out, I'm not doing terrible in Sigmar. This isn't Davis's or Curtis is complaining about
The bit.
he's salty because he's losing, but
Yep.
I've been doing fine. Like at Adepticon, I went 3-2 with Korn, and I usually do okay at our local tournaments, somewhere to the middle top end of
Yep.
there. But
No, 4th edition. I think when we look at 4th edition 2 years from now, like right before 5th edition,
This
we're
is
gonna
the
be
best.
we're gonna be like, don't switch the edition.
yeah, yep.
And
I
everyone
think
says the. Go ahead.
Well, they're also trying to mitigate some of the. Age of Sigmar also has an issue with like how its units are pointed. You end up also when you build lists with a lot of these lists that are like 50, potentially 60 to 80 points that are just left over.
Yep.
That you can't do anything with because nothing. Because honestly, like the base cost of a unit in Sigmar, there are some exceptions, is like 100 points.
Yep.
Even if it's just like a little 5-man shitter unit that doesn't do anything, it costs 100 points.
Yep.
And so we're in this weird spot where you end up also with weird lists, and frankly, a command point on the first turn is
Whatever.
That's honestly the turn I need the extra command point on the least.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's okay, I guess, if you're playing like a magic focused army and you can throw out an endless spell without, changing your game plan up too much. But also, I think the prevalence of endless spells, while I like endless spells, I like that they're seeing play. I don't like seeing morbid every single time I play the game.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to experiment.
That was part of the thing I loved about 3rd was you had to pay for each endless spell you had, and that filled up those 50, 60 points that.
Yeah, I've got 50 points at the end. Sure, I guess I'm throwing in Jaws, Ravanax Gnashing Jaws. I have that. Or I brought the chains. Am I gonna summon them? Probably not, but I can if I.
And it sounds like in this book they're gonna add points for some of the endless spell.
Did your factions spells cost points?
Yes, they did.
Ooh.
I don't think they're going to in this, and I'm okay if they want the faction ones to be free.
Yeah, I think your faction ones should be free.
I like the faction ones seeing play.
I agree.
They're real hit or miss. I think the Orc War Clans ones are actually really solid.
Now that I've played with them, I think they're really solid.
They are really good. I can't speak. I think the Soulblight ones are. They seemed very mediocre to me when I looked at them. And again, the worst part is it's competing with Morbid. And at the end of the day, if what your goal is to win a tournament or win a game, you're just probably going to take Morbid or Primal, or you'll take Primal if you want some more damage-based ones. And it's a real shame because even just the other endless spell lores that are in the base book, things like the Aetherrot Machineries or the Twilight Sorceries, I think they have pieces in there that aren't bad and can see play, but they're just getting completely overshadowed by the fact of, well, I don't want to not have the Purple Sun and the Gravetide.
Gotta have them.
You're exactly right. The Gravetide's such a great blocking piece. The Purple Sun is...
It does more damage than it should on the charge.
Yep.
it's just two really good spells, and then two somewhat mediocre. Well, the Vortex is, I'd probably say, most of the time bad. I've only ever seen people blow their own units up with it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then the
want to roleplay
chains,
Skaven for a bit.
right? And the chains I think are also pretty decent. But
I think the
Yep.
chains are very good. When I was at Adepticon, the Cinch player that I went up against, that Curtis also went up against.
woo, that Zinch player,
Woo!
yeah.
Eskimo Brothers. Because I got fucked by him. He used the chains, and the chains fucked me.
Yeah.
So I think the chains can be used really good. I do think that it for certain armies that don't have a lot of like units on the board, or don't have a lot of like higher number model, or like higher model units on the board, I think the Purple Sun is a great addition. I think that's also something that a lot of people don't consider is, hey, I need something out now. Purple Sun. Hey, look, it's going to do a shit ton of damage. It's going to be an issue no matter what.
My issue is you don't just have the Purple Sun. You have the Purple Sun and
Yep.
everything
You have
else.
the Purple Sun and all
Also
this
really
extra
need
stuff.
to they also really need to make up their goddamn mind on whether or not they want endless spells to be a unit or not be a unit.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think
Because some like
manifestations
are
should be a
and
unit.
some aren't, and
I'm tired of it because as someone who runs tournaments, because I also had a local GT here and I was the tournament organizer for that. One of the questions that I get the most like asked about is how the hell do manifestations work?
Manifestations, if it can block and you can initiate combat with it, it should be a unit.
Yeah.
Simple
I know they were
enough.
trying, right? They're trying to make it, oh, well, the things that care about killing. Frankly, this new battle pack doesn't really care about killing stuff on most of those tracks anyway. So they should just count as units.
Yeah.
It sounds like what they're probably going to do, my guess, is the ones that can move will count as units, and the ones that don't have a move characteristic just won't count as units. That's my guess as to what's going to change.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure.
That's completely fine. I get it. I played in 2 tournaments now, and I have not seen anyone use. Wait, let me double check. No, I do not think besides one person I have seen anyone use their faction spells. I have seen Primal and I have seen Morbid. Those are the 2.
I mean, I've seen you use the Stormcast ones, and one
Yep.
of the other players in our community will use the Stormcast ones. I think he mostly just does that because he has them and just wants to use them because they're the Stormcast ones.
I like the Stormcast ones a lot.
the Skaven players typically play theirs.
Yeah, the Skaven ones I've seen people play.
Oh nope, then that is a lie. My first opponent at Adepticon did use the Skaven ones. I like
I've
the Stormcast
noticed.
ones because Celestian Vortex and the Comet are very good. And Dice Arcanum is the best spell in the game. Especially when you're taking dragons. Give my dragon heroes fly, please. Sorry, go ahead.
What I was gonna say is, then because I'm going through the armies that have books out right now, I usually with Slaves to Darkness, I assume they're either running Morbid, or they don't have any wizards and they're not summoning any spells.
Yep.
I played against a guy. The bridge isn't Morbid.
No, that is Forbidden Power.
I've played against someone using the bridge twice.
Yeah, Forbidden Powers started to see a resurgence of people. At the beginning of the edition, a lot of people didn't like it. But it turns out it's one of the lores that has 4 spells. So welcome back to we use it because it has 4 spells.
I have options. I can just get stuff out on the field.
Yep. They tried to mitigate it with the giving you bonuses to the banishment roll for each manifestation. I'm going to be real. I've never had that come up in any game. Granted, I'm not playing with the most wizards. My Khorne list has a single priest in it that can banish a thing, and most of the time, that priest is not banishing anything. It's summoning a new Khorne manifestation, praying for a new one.
And I
think the
just
change
slam against stuff and blow it up. Like,
right.
I'm in the opposite spectrum. My new list is going to have 2 Wizard 2s in it, so.
Right. I'll be interested to see how it goes. Point. I mean, really, just sort of top it off. Just, I think there's a lot of underlying small issues that sort of coalesce into Age of Sigmar feeling like it feels like the dad was a world champion of some sort of sport, and their son is trying to imitate their dad, but he's trying to be different. He's trying to be his own person and do it his own way, but he didn't understand what made his dad's success great.
yeah. No, I can agree with that 100%.
I see exactly what you're saying. I get
It kind of feels like change was made for the sake of changing things and not for the betterment of game design.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that by the end of the edition that I can say that they figured it out.
Yeah. I mean, it takes time. I mean, honestly, I remember when the Scourge of Giran was starting to come out, and I think both of you were kind of on the fence about it. You're like, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. And
I do hate that it also completely upended my proxy rule for being a TO.
It sure did.
It really did.
It absolutely did.
My general rule on proxies is, or say proxies or conversions, even just using models that are not strictly the GW model, is basically the only thing I won't allow is someone swapping a unit in that is from the same book. So, like, for example, if you wanted to use Weird Brute Rekkas as Weird Brute Ragers in Iron Jaws.
Yep.
I don't allow that because it's confusing, and I don't want somebody to potentially mistake one unit for another, even if it's not in your list. I don't want them to think it's one thing and then you tell them and it's actually another.
Right.
But now I basically don't have any ground to stand on in terms of that. I basically should just allow frickin' anything, because you could have Gorgruntas out there and they could be one of 2 different things.
Is it the Scourge Gorgrunta?
Is it the Scourge Gorgruntas, or is it the normal Gorgruntas?
Or next year, is it the Glimbus Gorgrunta?
Yeah, is it
Do they bring back the Scourge? Do we have 4 different war scrolls for the same model?
They're bringing back Primal Casting. Bring back Andorian Locusts.
Primal Casting was bad. Listen, Primal Casting was bad. That wasn't fun for anybody.
Well,
I think probably the best one they did from 3rd edition was when they had the Galatian Champions. I thought that was the best. That was the best book they had from back then.
It sure was.
But I assume we're probably coming close to time here, aren't we?
I think that's a perfect cap off. Genuinely, I think we've learned a lot. I learned a lot personally.
Well, I hope I was insightful to your Sigmar brain experience.
Very much
and
so.
how you can think about the game.
Very much so. We're gonna be probably if not next episode, it'll definitely be the episode after that. We'll have another D&D session under our belts that we could talk about and go into more detail on. It's going to be a full length session, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then fucking new fucking General's Handbook's going to be out. That's going to be insane. That's going to be crazy. We're going to play some games of that. Anything you guys are doing in the next couple of weeks that you want to talk about?
Oh, we already heard about Curtis's world travels.
Yeah.
We'll probably hang out.
Tournaments.
Yeah, it's true. It's going to be some crazy stuff.
Plague's birthday is on Monday. Happy birthday, Plague.
Plague's birthday is on Monday.
Yeah. Going to be 31, baby. I get 31 minutes in heaven in a closet with Curtis. It's going to be fucking crazy.
Oh.
See how quickly he leaves me?
I know. It's because I'm so lovable.
He looks cozy. Listen. He looks
yeah, I'll make sure you're all wrapped up and cozy, all right? I'll treat you nice.
Exactly.
Give you a cup of hot cocoa.
Oh my god. Man after my own heart. But yeah, that should be it for us tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
I appreciate
don't really
you
have
guys
anything
having me on.
Absolutely. It was a blast. It was a pleasure.
So who knows? Maybe you'll see me again some point, but you know, it was good being here, good being on a podcast again. I appreciated the chance to do it. So, if you ever need a guy to come talk about some Age of Sigmar stuff, you always know where to find me.
Oh,
So.
absolutely. Absolutely.
For sure.
But yeah, no, that's it for us. You guys stay hydrated and stay pretty and stay healthy. Oh, wait, one
Have a good
last
one.
thing. Get quacked. Ha! Got him. You see that shit? I can't fucking believe that.